Creating a Visual Studio project. Throughout the semester, you will be required to complete several Windows application projects using Visual Studio. Today, I'm going to show you how to create a new project, how to save the project, and then how to prepare the project to turn in for your assignment. I have taken the liberty of starting Microsoft Visual Studio on my computer. I will then go to File and choose New Project. The New Project dialog opens up and allows us to choose the type of template we want to use. Most of our projects in this class will be done using Visual Basic and Windows template. Once the template is chosen, then we can come over and narrow it down as to what type of template. And in our case, we're going to use the Windows Forms application. Over here, it will tell you this is a project for creating an application with a Windows user interface. Now, before we actually click OK to create the project, it's a really good opportunity to give your project a name. That name should be something that makes sense based on the type of application that you are creating. For example, if you were creating a tax estimate type application, then your name might simply be tax estimate. For this purpose, I'm going to create a project called Training Project. Notice that I use camel case capitalization. For those of you that are not familiar with camel case, that is where you put your words together with no spaces, and the beginning of each word uses a capital letter. Now, once I've renamed it, I can click OK. And it will create my project template. Now, I'm going to, just for the purpose of this video, I am going to add some objects to my form so that I can create a visual that we can view when we run the application later in the video. Okay, so I now have a button and a text box. To code the button, again, this is ahead of where you are in class, but I'm going to just do some quick code here so that when we run the application, it will function for us. And I just simply told the application to close my window when I push the button. Now, there are several things that you will learn along the way as you are learning to program. This is just for training purposes. Once I have my work done for the day and I am going to close my application, I always want to do a save all. Now, up here in the toolbar, you will see the save, and then you will see a save all. For the purpose of our class, please always choose save all. Now, once you save it for the first time, it's going to come up with the Save Project dialog box. Again, if you did not name it in that first template process, you may now name it here. Location, this is where you want to save your application. The default is a Visual Studio 2015 projects folder located in my documents. That is sufficient for me. If you wanted to save it to an external hard drive or a specific folder for classwork, that you had created, then you may do so at this time by clicking Browse and navigating to the folder that you created. Next, we have a solution name. Again, that is going to mimic what you use as the name here. And then you want to make sure the check mark for Create Directory for Solution is checked. Click Save. And close your application. I will now go to the Documents folder, and I will scroll down to find the Visual Studio 2015 folder, and then the Projects folder. Notice Training Project. This is the project that I just created. And within that folder, you see another Training Project folder and a Microsoft Visual Studio Solution file. Within the Training Project folder, you see many other folders and files. Those are the directory folders and files that were created when you created the project. All of these files and folders have supporting roles to your project. It is very important that you do not move them or change their names once you have created your project. Now I'm going to go back one and mention that when you come in day 2 to work on your project, you will use the solution file to gain access to that project from the directory. So when you click Solution, it will open up Microsoft Visual Studio, and it will open the application that is located in that project. Now I'm going to debug this just because I want to show you the executable, and the executable for this application will not be created until I click the Start button. Let me show you. If I go into Training Project and then go into Bin and Debug, you will see the application Training Project here. But you will see that it's not functioning at this stage. So I'm going to back out, and I'm going to go back to Visual Studio, and I'm going to start the debugging process. When I do, it's going to load my form with my text box and my button, which, if you remember previously, I coded the button to close the program. Now, a text box is used to accept data, and then buttons are used to invoke events. Now, I created a button to close my application, so it's not going to affect the text that I put in my text box. But I will show you that when I click the button, the application closes. Now that I have run the program at least once, I'll close it again, and I go back now into my bin folder and my debug folder. I now see a training project.exe. This is the actual executable application. And you will see that now I have the application available. This allows me to test my application in multiple versions of Microsoft Windows, so I can take that with me. Okay, now once you are finished with your application and you want to submit your application for grading, I will need all files and folders associated with your project. So I will need both of these, as well as all of the files and folders within your training project folder, or whatever you named it. So in order to get both of these together, I need to go to the highest level folder or home folder, and I need to compress that folder so that I get everything that belongs in it, which is supporting my project. To compress a folder, I will simply right-click, choose Send to Compressed Zipped Folder. Now, what you will notice is that I added a new folder, but this one looks a little different. So this one has a zipper on it. We call it a zip file because of the extension ZIP. And then we have our original project file. The one that you will submit for grading is the zipped file. Once I receive the zipped file, I will uncompress the folder to gain access to the contents. Now, I do want to give you a word of caution that many students will check their work before submitting by using the zipped folder. And if you try to access items within the zipped folder, it is going to give you an error and want you to extract for it to operate. Please understand that if you have checked your work in this folder and it was operable when you compressed it, then I will be able to uncompress the folder and get a working project without any trouble. In the next video series, I will show you how to upload your zipped folder in Schoology to submit your assignment. But for today, just as a recap, I showed you how to create a new project and how to save that project using the Save All button, how to locate the project, and how to create a compressed folder with all of your project files and folders inside. I hope that you have a better understanding, and if you have further questions, please feel free to make comments on the video so that I can clear up that confusion. Thank you.